Honorable Mr. Chancellor of the Cape Peninsula University of Technology, Dr. Trevor Manuel, Deputy Chairman of the Council, Mr. Mbata, Vice Chancellor and Principal, Dr. Prince Nebutalu, esteemed members of the Faculty, Administration and Support Services, distinguished guests, Vice Chancellors, Deputy Vice Chancellors who are present here. I assume that there might be some members of the government that are also here. I greet you all. Members of the diplomatic corps, if you're here, I also acknowledge you. Parents, friends, and enemies, we know who you are. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. I greet you all this evening in the name of Him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly, above all we can ask or think, according to the power that worketh in us. To Him be majesty, be glory, be honor, and praise. I have titled this talk, Pep Talk, From Entitlement to Entrepreneurship, a New Paradigm of Empowerment. Open quotes. If I have been able to see further, it is because I have stood on the shoulders of giants. Close quotation. Those were the words of Sir Isaac Newton. On the eve of our celebration of the 20 years of South African democracy, Sir Isaac Newton's words are more apt and fitting in that all of us in this august hall are standing on the shoulders of heroes and heroines, comrades and combatants of our struggle for a just and democratic South Africa. We salute Nelson Mandela, our first president of the democratic South Africa. We salute other heroes and heroines of our struggle. We salute the ancestors of our struggle, who laid a solid foundation for the struggle of human dignity and freedom. We must also not forget that our democratic dispensation is rooted on reconciliation and peace. That is the hallmark of the Madiba presidency. In honoring Madiba on this 20th year of our democracy, we must continually smoke the pipe of peace and reconciliation with the descendants of Jan van Riebeeck, the French Huguenots, the 1820 settlers, and the architects and the beneficiaries of the apartheid system, including, of course, the descendants of the infamous Streek Rover van Matrooskrans, confirming that South Africa belongs to all of its people as enshrined in our Constitution. We owe our presence today, our being, our freedom, and our successes of what we have achieved in the past 20 years to these people. Our greatest gratitude that we can give them is to keep the legacy of their gift of freedom alive by playing our part in ensuring that generations to come will pay similar gratitude to us for having picked up the baton of freedom and ran the race and continue to fight the good fight of freedom. Let us strengthen it and enhance it beyond the glowing pages of our world-class and world-first Constitution into reality for everyone, from homestead to villages, from townships to our cities, from Cape Point in the southernmost tip of the continent to the southern shores of the Limpopo River in the north. Let's do that from Kosi Bay in the east to Alexandra Bay in the west. Let our freedom and democracy ring as proclaimed by Madiba in his presidential inaugural address from the top of Table Mountain and the foothills and valleys of the Cederberg and the Drakensberg mountain ranges to the highest peaks of the Zoutpansberg ranges in the north. From the Amatola and Baviaanskloof mountain ranges in the east to Drakensberg ranges and beyond the plateauland of Groot-Karoo, from the Barberton Greenstone Belt and the Lebombo mountain ranges to the Magalies and the Pilanesberg mountain ranges in the northwest. Let us continue to beat the drums of freedom, human dignity, responsible and accountable democracy. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our obligation, our bounden duty. This is your obligation, class of 2014. and your bounden duty as you join the constituency of tax-paying and voting citizens of our country. I'm glad that the Honorable Minister in the Presidency is here because he was the Minister of Treasury at one stage. He understands what I mean by being tax-paying constituency of our country. However, the most important contribution we can give to our present democracy is the objective review of its meaning and purpose, essence and performance in terms of meeting its mandate and serving with distinction its citizenry. In other words, we need to continuously examine our progress in relation to programs that we and the government have set out on our behalf to improve our lives. For an example, what do you, ladies and gentlemen, think of the National Development Plan? And why do some of our brothers and sisters in the union formations seem to be unhappy with it? What lessons can we learn from the RDP and the GEAR programs that set the foundations during the first 15 years of our democracy? What are your views on Youth Subsidy Fund? Are we doing enough to improve service delivery in our communities? What advice can we offer government, the business community, and university from which we graduated? As President J.F. Kennedy said, open quote, "Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country," off quote. This is the mantra of responsibility, accountability, and dedication that should drive us towards greater things to make this South Africa of ours the most beautiful and democratic country, second to none in the world. In the words of Martin Luther King Jr., I open quotes, "I look to a day when people will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character," close quotation. We also, like Dr. King, must strive to have our democracy judged not by the collective suffering we endured under apartheid, but by the content of its democratic character. You are facing challenges as you are graduating today. If you will allow me, can I just talk a little bit about some of them? The era of getting a job and holding it is over. Permanent employment is relegated to the history books. Upon us is the ethos of continuous learning, training, reskilling, and growth. This is the new paradigm which defines the workplace today, and I am from the workplace. If you thought you'll never open the book again, if you thought you'll never cross night again because you have now acquired your diploma or certificate, ask for a refund from the registrar. Your degree is only worth as much as the paper it is written on. What employers are looking for is more than just a paper. A unique breed of graduates, a teachable individual, willing and able to learn new skills, new systems and procedures, new production and manufacturing techniques, new people skills, and new cultures. That's what awaits you. Companies and business entrepreneurs are not looking for people who feel that they are entitled to promotion to chief engineer or chief executive officer because they have a degree. You have to start from the bottom and work your way up to the top. They are looking for people who will bring to the table their experience and clone it with new learning to increase the shareholders' value of a company. That's what they are looking for, ladies and gentlemen. If already employed, that's what they expect from you. It's not written in the induction manual, but it is, my friend, written in there. You just have to find it. Let's talk a little bit about job creation. Whose responsibility is it? The popular notion that government creates jobs, and we should therefore march to government buildings in Pretoria and Cape Town, or to the ruling party's headquarters in Luthuli House to demand jobs, to me is pathetically misleading, myopic, and devoid of reality within the milieu of a capital market system that operates in this country. Even in economic regimes built on socially inclined communistic market system, when analyzed with critical thought, it is devoid of truth. It is at best based on populism, and other self-aggrandizing tendencies and narrow interests. The role of government, according to Michael Porter, is to create an environment and infrastructure for the industries and commerce to thrive. The role of job creation rests with industrialists, entrepreneurs, innovators, and developers. You are an integral part of that community that has the capacity, skill, and drive to create jobs for our country, and not the government, whose purpose is to regulate the equitable usage infrastructure and manage undue competitive tendencies of greed and fraud that are endemic to the free market systems. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, you are now practically on your own. I'm sorry to say that, but that's the reality. The university from which you graduate today owes you nothing, but you are indebted to it a great deal, to demonstrate to the outside world, to all of us out there, that what they taught you were not a waste of time. This is a huge responsibility, I agree. You can choose to look for a job or create one. My advice to you is to do both, but with an emphasis and focus on the latter. The university has done its part. It has empowered you with training, skills, and techniques that should see you through all the challenges in life. Use them wisely. Be not afraid to network, to consult your peers, to try new things. Now, what holds? What does the future hold for you? You are the custodians of the future of our democratic dispensation. And let it be known to you all that I believe with my heart that the future of South Africa lies in innovation, entrepreneurship, and competitiveness, where our ideas are turned into market products, processes, and services, and that those should become drivers of our economy and, by implication, job creation. To support you, the government of the Republic has introduced a number of technology programs and support mechanisms with commensurate financial instrument to fund innovation, which is turning ideas to market products, processes, and services. Some of these are the DTI suite of innovation programs, such as SPY. By SPY, we don't mean that we are working for the crime intelligence or NIA, as it has been explained. So don't run away, I'm not from those guys. CEDA Technology Program, TVC, and the TIA Technology Stations, and many other funds that enable people such as you are entrepreneurs to create jobs by developing innovative products. Ladies and gentlemen, it might appear that I have bombarded you with too much detail, but you are the scholars of complex systems and details, as you have been during the time you were here. And believe me, you are going to be stuck with complexity and details for years to come in the practice of your professions. The key words that I wish to underscore in all of these initiatives of government are: number one, technology; number two, innovation; number three, collaboration; and number four, competitive advantage. In just 40 years after its ascendancy to power, the apartheid government erected scientific, engineering, and technology monuments second to none in Africa, such as Sasol, ISCA or ISCO, the Quebec Nuclear Power Station, the Roy Falk Assault Helicopter, and many others. We owe it to the forefathers that I've spoken about to build on these foundations of engineering excellence, our own edifices of science, engineering, and technology, to which our children and grandchildren will be proud and remember us for. We need to stand up and brush ourselves from the setbacks of the Pebble Bed Modular Reactor Project, the Joule electric car, the delays of the Mthembu power station, and the embarrassment of load shedding, remembering the wise adage from Nelson Mandela himself, open quotation: "I have walked that long road to freedom. I have tried not to falter. I have made missteps along the way, but I've discovered the secret that after climbing a great hill, one only finds there are many more hills to climb." Close quotation. We must continue to strive for excellence as we have done with the building of the Gautrain, the 9 World Cup 20 stadia, the refurbishment of our airports, and the square kilometer array project through the alignment of state and private sector. We must do the same to ensure service delivery in all our communities, from the Durrans and Khayelitsha in the Western Cape to Ficksburg, Berkersdal and Breeze communities in the north, for an example. The time that you have spent within these hallowed walls of academia, in laboratories, in libraries, in field trips, in internships with companies and organizations have been a necessary and a sufficient condition to experiential and preparatory learning to equip you with the basic training skills and acumen you need to face the real world, which we call the University of Hard Rocks, to solve real, complex world problems. For an example, I was very appalled and actually almost fainted when I heard that the mayor of Cape Town had a drug problem. From my research, there were companies in Switzerland that were willing to take her for rehabilitation. But then she said, no, it's not really my problem, it's my children's problem. Meaning, that's what she said, the whole city's problem. But I'm happen to be the mother, that's why I said I had a drug problem. For an example, you being engineers, can't you think of a solution which will enable us to detect every aeroplane that enters the airspace of Cape Town and know each and every cargo that is in there before the aircraft lands, and be able to match that cargo through the fingerprint system in the passport with each and every passenger that is in that car, so that we know, rather in that aeroplane, so we know the undesirables that we can separate at the customs. It sounds like a dream, but it can be done if you put your mind to it. You are standing at the door of these initiatives, ladies and gentlemen. The choice is yours and the world is your oyster. I'm about to finish. I know some of you are yawning already. The prosperity and security of all Americans, I quote, now and in the foreseeable future depend increasingly on our nation's enduring and evolving capacity to learn, inspire, create, and innovate. This was the chairman of the Council on Competitiveness, who is also CEO of Bell South Corporation. I would like us, ladies and gentlemen, to substitute Americans with South Africans. Let me give you a few lessons from high achievers that I would like to bequeath to you on their behalf. You all know Michael Dell, who is the chairman and CEO of Dell Computers. Let me quote, open quotation. Don't spend so much time trying to choose the perfect opportunity that you miss the right opportunity. Recognize that there will be failures and acknowledge that there will be obstacles, but you will learn from your mistakes and the mistakes of others, for there is very little learning in success. Close quotation. He also says, try never to be the smartest person in the room. And if you are, I suggest you invite smarter people and find a different room. In professional circles, it's called networking. In organization, it's called team building. And in life, it's called family, friends, and community. We all gifts to each other, and my own growth as a leader has shown me again and again that the most rewarding experiences come from my relationships. Create relationships. But many people find their passion in life later, and others never find it at all. And for some, their greatest passion is the search itself. But whether you have found your calling or you are still searching, passion should be the fire that drives your life's work. Close quotation. Most of you are familiar with Batman movies and Ben 10 and all those guys. I'm not, but I watch it because my kids do. Michael Aslan is the movie producer and originator of the Batman movies. He says, you must have a high threshold for frustration. Take it from the guy who was turned down by every studio in Hollywood. You must knock on doors until your knuckles bleed. Doors will slam in your face. You must pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and knock again. It's the only way to achieve your goals in life. Lastly, you must be familiar with Dr. Ruth. Your parents are. She's commonly known, she's a sexologist. She's very well known, but she's a professor at a university in the United States. She's also a media psychologist. She says, my favorite animal is the turtle. The reason is that in order for the turtle to move, it has to stick its neck out. There are going to be times in your life when you are going to have to stick your neck out. There will be challenges, and instead of hiding in a shell, you have to go out and meet them. I say to you all, in all things and in everything, be thankful and give praise. Gratitude brings blessings. It blesses the one that gives thanks more than the one that receives thanks. It brings success and victory in your life. You have an assignment to give thanks and praise to God Almighty, who ordained you in your mother's womb and said, I knew you before you were born, that you would be an engineer and graduate today at CPUT. Give thanks to your parents, to your professors, to your tutors, your mentors, your sponsors, and to your friends. For by a mere word, thank you, you will reap tremendous blessings. In conclusion, Deputy Vice Chancellor and Principal, as well as Chancellor, let me quote from one of my greatest philosophers, whose spiritual wisdom transcends time, St. Paul of Tarsus, circumcised the 8th day, of the stock of Israel, of the tribe of Benjamin, the least of them all, a Hebrew of the Hebrews, as touching the law, a Pharisee of the Pharisees. Speaking to the brethren of the church in the city of Corinth, he says, I quote, are we beginning to commend ourselves again? Or do we need, like some people, letters of recommendation to you or from you? You yourselves are our letter, written on our hearts, known and read by everyone. You show that you are a letter from Christ, the result of our ministry, written not with ink, but with the Spirit of the living God, not on the tablet of stone, but on the tablets of human hearts. Close quotation. Now I want to turn it around. I also declare to you today, ladies and gentlemen, that you are also the letter from the Cape Peninsula University of Technology, written not in ink, but with the spirit of knowledge, skill, wisdom, and understanding. Not on the tablets of the paper describing your certificate that you will receive today, or your diploma or your degree, but on the fleshy tablet of the human mind. As Naima K said, Leli langa ngelami. Today I declare this day is my day. This is your day. Receive the abundance of grace it brings to you, and be blessed beyond measure. I thank you.